We invited Jimmy over today. He's a true racer, not some wild maniac. James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder carried a curse, or so the rumors went. People dismissed it as superstition until the accidents mounted. After Dean's death, the wreck was parted out. Every component seemed deadly. The engine claimed one life and nearly took another. The tires burst in unison. Even keeping the car in storage proved hazardous. A garage burst into flames. Yet the Porsche emerged almost unscathed. In 1960, the remains vanished en route to a new location. The truck and its driver were never seen again. Newly uncovered records reveal the truth. The curse was real, and its origins can be traced on a frigid February morning in 1931. At precisely 2 a.m., James Byron Dean entered the world in the Seven Gables apartment house in Marion, Indiana. He tipped the scales at 8 pounds, 10 ounces. The doctor's fee, $15. His mother, Mildred, had striking dark eyes that sparked whispers of Native American heritage. She named her only son Byron, after the poet Lord Byron. His father, Winton, was a dental technician at the local VA hospital. The family lived in a modest apartment opposite the train station, the same one Jimmy would later depart from, alone and heartbroken. Clutching a souvenir cup in one hand at age 4, Winton secured a steady position at the Sawtelle VA hospital in Los Angeles. The Deans relocated to a cramped 6th-floor walk-up in Santa Monica. Mildred loathed California's glossy facade. She yearned for Indiana's quiet authenticity. She saw how isolated Jimmy felt, small, fair-skinned, teased for his violin practice and his poetic middle name. Winton was a silent presence, more ghost than father. Mildred built a private universe for her son. She taught him violin at 4, bought him tap shoes, constructed a cardboard puppet stage for their improvised plays and poetry readings. Piano lessons, bongo drums, radio scripts to perform. It was their hidden realm. Neighbors clucked that he seemed too fragile for a boy. Mildred insisted he was extraordinary, and he believed her. That conviction ignited a fire within him, one that would blaze beyond imagination. Yet he never learned to release its grip. In May 1940, a stabbing pain seized Mildred's chest. Diagnosis: uterine cancer. She was 29, Jimmy, 9. He witnessed her agony until her death on July 14th. Winton was overwhelmed by grief and debt. His mother, Emma, arrived from Indiana and pressed him on the boy's future. Winton replied, "I don't want to raise him." 2 days after the funeral, Jimmy boarded the Challenger train beside his mother's coffin. Over 2,000 miles, he leapt off at every stop to ensure the casket remained aboard, terrified of losing her twice. The conductor gifted him a monogrammed cup and saucer from the train. Jimmy treasured it forever. On July 20th, Mildred was laid to rest in Indiana. Winton stayed away. Jimmy settled into a farmhouse with Aunt Hortense and Uncle Marcus Winslow in Fairmount. They surrendered their bedroom to him because he loved the furnishings. A pony arrived for his 10th birthday. He hunted barn rats with his cousin, devoured bullfighting books, and spent long hours in solitude. Winton remarried in California and rarely wrote. Jimmy waited for letters that seldom came. In 1942, he met Reverend James DeWeird, a preacher, war veteran, seemingly benevolent. He introduced Jimmy to poetry, lent books, screened bullfighting reels. But darkness lurked beneath the kindness. In 1955, on the Giant set, Jimmy confided in Elizabeth Taylor. At age 11, after his mother's death, the Reverend began molesting him. Taylor guarded the secret until her own death in 2011. Jimmy carried the wound for 14 years. It never healed. By his senior year at Fairmount High, DeWeird's influence had deepened. They traveled to Indianapolis, shared hotel rooms. The Reverend opened doors to theater while tightening his hold. Jimmy sculpted self, a boy, head bowed, hands shielding his face in silent shame. He still played basketball, starred in school plays. In 1949, he topped sectional scoring, earned the school's top athlete award, and won the state drama contest, Master of Sport and Stage. Yet inwardly he unraveled, shattering glasses mid-game, erupting in rehearsals, expelled once for decking a classmate who mocked his reading. He raced motorcycles prone on the seat, roaring like missiles down rural lanes. Control eluded him. Escape was all he craved. Graduation, May 16, 1949. Age Jimmy ranked 20th of 47. He delivered the benediction, but his journals darkened with betrayal, shame, confusion. He attended prom solo. Days later, he packed a brown suitcase, diploma, medals, notebooks, and boarded a westbound train. Hollywood was his lifeline. By June 1949, he was back in California, sharing a tiny Santa Monica apartment with his dog, Max. He told Winton he'd study law, enrolled at Santa Monica City College, then switched to theater. Auditions were brutal. Producers eyed him like merchandise. Offers came with strings. The city reeked of decay. In fall 1950, he entered UCLA, pledged Sigma Nu on Gailey Avenue. He landed Malcolm and Macbeth. At Royce Hall, 1,600 watched. His raw method shook them. During rehearsal, he collapsed screaming. The cast feared madness. He quit after one semester, penniless. A friend secured him valet work near CBS. There he met Rogers Brackett, influential radio director. Brackett offered shelter, radio gigs, street protection, at a cost. Jimmy moved in, entering another warped bond. He later told a friend he felt like a performer for indifferent tycoons. In October 1951, he fled to New York with nothing. Couch surfing, dumpster meals, fired from a game show for stunt prowess. He rented a maid's room at 19 West 68th. No kitchen, porthole windows, hot plate. December 1953. Audition for The Immoralist, a seductive Arab boy. He won it. February 8, 1954, his 23rd birthday. The show opened at the Royale. Critics raved, but trauma lingered. Earlier, bit parts. One line in Sailor Beware, another cut from Fixed Bayonets. A powerful director lured him privately. The encounter mirrored Brackett's violation. Jimmy told William Bast it left him feeling soiled, worthless. Racing became salvation. He tore through LA on motorcycles, fast, deafening, defiant. Success brought a $4,000 Porsche Speedster. Racing was his obsession. March 1954. Jimmy strolled 90 minutes late into Elia Kazan's office for East of Eden, leather jacket ragged, indifferent to the Warner Brothers brass. He mumbled lines, ignored marks, offered no polish. Kazan saw raw loneliness in his eyes, perfect for Cal Trask. Contract, $10,000. Paul Newman was passed over. Studio suits balked at Dean's thin resume, but Kazan prevailed. Filming began early 1955. Dean arrived as emotional wildfire. He became the role, unnerving veterans like Raymond Massey, his screenfather. Dean snubbed rehearsals, stared at floors, scribbled in notebooks. Massey seethed. In an unscripted moment, Dean seized Massey's shoulders. Kazan kept it for its fury. Delays cost $15,000 in 1 week alone, but the dailies were electric. With Julie Harris, Abra, no romance. She was older, married, steady. Yet Dean phoned at 3 a.m., gripped her face too roughly on camera. She forgave, sensing his hunger for truth. He shared fears, confusion, even sexuality, but remained unreachable. East of Eden premiered April 10, 1955. $5 million gross. Warner's fifth biggest that year. Dean earned a posthumous Oscar nod, the first ever. Next, Rebel Without a Cause. Nicholas Ray cast him as Jim Stark. Ray fixated, calling it a spiritual marriage, probing Dean's psyche in script sessions. Dean felt devoured. At Griffith Observatory, in the iconic red windbreaker, which he kept, he taunted extras, sparked a brawl. Black eye left visible. He vanished mid-shoot. The studio eyed Tab Hunter as replacement. Dean confessed terror to screenwriter Stuart Stern. Ray wanted his soul. He returned, tension intact. The knife fight with Corey Allen used Ray-all blades. Allen nicked Dean's ear. Blood flowed. Ray rolled on. Dean demanded no cut. The prop's switchblade later fetched $12,000 on set. Dean witnessed Ray, 43, and Dennis Hopper with 16-year-old Natalie Wood. He sneered privately to Bast, Hollywood's rot. Studio memos forbade homosexual hints between Jim and Plato. Sal Mineo played it openly gay. Dean spiraled. Giant. June 1955, Texas. Dean raced his silver Porsche 356 Speedster like a missile. He screeched toward Elizabeth Taylor at 70 miles per hour, braking 15 feet away. She collapsed. George Stevens banned the car. Dean hotwired a crew truck, crashed it at 100 miles per hour, wrecking $3,500 in sets. Salary docked $4,200 of $17,500. June 18th. He urinated before 120 extras, eyes locked. Taylor hid her face. Hudson swore. Stevens kept the take. Warner paid offended extras $50 each. July 2nd. Bar fight with Hudson over a jab at Hudson's agent. Dean headbutt for stitches. Taylor had a panic attack. Hudson skipped the funeral. Stevens sensed doom. He'll die stupidly before release. Brackett resurfaced, extorting $800. Warner paid. Dean squatted in his dressing room with a Colt .45. When barred, he stole nameplates, hung them in fountains, roared off, vowing never to return. Only Taylor truly saw him. Late nights on Giant. He revealed the abuse by DeWeird at age 11. She kept it secret. Afterward, he avoided her gaze for days, then returned to talk. Mid-September 1955. Dean filmed a PSA. Take it easy driving. The life you save might be mine. Come, Ernest. 2 weeks later, it became prophecy. September 23rd. Alec Guinness, denied entry at restaurants because friend Thelma Moss wore trousers, ended at Villa Capri. Dean invited them, then dragged them outside to admire his new silver Porsche 550 Spyder, 150 miles per hour capable. Guinness felt dread, heard himself say, "Never drive it. You'll be dead in it by next week." Dean laughed. "Don't be mean." 7 days later, Stevens had dreamed of Dean in a silver death machine, matching the Spyder. He banned racing via contract clause. Crew warned, "You'll kill someone." Dean ignored. September 30th. Dean headed to Salinas with mechanic Rolf Wutherich. Bill Hickman trailed in a Ford wagon with photographer Sanford Roth. 3:30 p.m. Ticketed, 65 and 55. Hickman, 20 over towing. Hickman warned the low Porsche blended into asphalt. Brushed off. 5:15 stop at Blackwell's Corner. Apple, Coke. Met racers Lance Reventlow, Bruce Kessler, also ticketed. Wutherich offered to drive. Dean refused. Someone recalled Dean saying, "This could be my last race." 5:45 p.m. Collision to AT routes 466 and 41 near Shalem. 23-year-old Donald Turnipseed in a 1950 Ford Tudor turned left into Dean's path. Dean swerved. Impact near head-on. Porsche flipped 2 to 3 times, ditched. Ford skidded 39 feet. Dean's left foot crushed between pedals. Neck broken, jaw shattered, arms fractured, internals ravaged. Wutherich thrown, jaw, hip, femur broken. Ambulance. Dean DOA 6:20 p.m. at Paso Robles War Memorial, per Dr. Robert Bossert. Some say he died in Hickman's arms. Turnip seed. Bruises, bloody nose, hitchhiked home. Inquest. Accidental, no charges. One interview, then silence until lung cancer death. 1995. Age 63. News hit Hollywood. Stevens halted Giant reels. Dean is dead. Taylor hospitalized. Hudson wept. Funeral October 8th. Fairmount Friends Church. Closed casket, 600 inside, 2,400 outside. Wreck totaled. George Barris bought for $2,500. Curse ignited. At Barris's shop. Fell off trailer, broke mechanic's leg. Engine/transmission sold. Dr. Troy McHenry. Rear suspension. Crashed Pomona race October 21st, 1956, into tree, dead. Dr. William Eschred. Engine and Lotus. Flipped same race, severe injuries. 2 tires sold, simultaneous blowout, crash. Storage garage fire, Porsche barely scorched. 1960 transport from Miami. Vanished with truck. 1959 Fresno storage fire. Building gutted, Porsche lightly singed, 2 tires only. Barris called it proof. McHenry's widow donated remnants nationwide. Eschred raced on, denied superstition, later admitted betrayal feeling. 2020. Expert Donna Hearn found original transaxle after 30 years. 2021 sale. $387,000. Some tales fabricated. Teen crushed. Trucker killed. No records. Truth sufficed. Silver car. On-camera plea. Guinness's prophecy. Stevens's dream. Cascade of wrecks from one highway instant.